Peter took a look at the beast. It had now stopped walking forward and stood in the middle of the street. It placed one of its bladed hands in front of the other and scraped them against each other. A slight screeching sound could be heard as the beast continued this process. "No," Peter said. "It already considers us intruders. It will keep attacking us until we're gone, I can tell." With those words said, Peter threw his bag to the ground and dashed forward. It was at an incredible speed that Peter had not displayed until this point, and it was a surprise to him. This was because Quinn had gotten stronger, and in return, Peter's stats had increased. Usually, Peter would do his best to hide his abilities. The speed he was running at right now was not possible for a human who wasn't wearing any beast gear or didn't have any ability. But it wasn't the time to hide their powers. It was a matter of life and death. Although Sia was frightened, she wasn't stupid. She too got into position, dashing towards one of the sides of the building. While doing so, she threw out her spirit spears. "Please hit," she prayed. If the beast was indeed a king tier, then there wasn't much chance that her spears would hit the target. However, the beast stood there and allowed the spears to be lodged into the upper part of its body. "Is it going easy on us?" she thought. At the same time, she wondered what Peter was planning to do. He held no beast weapons and only had his regenerative ability. He would be killed in a matter of moments. When Peter was in range, the beast swung down its blade hand. Using all his strength, Peter swung both his fists together like a tennis racket. "This is it," Sia said. "No human has the strength to match a beast with their bare hands." As the hands met with the side of the blade, the power was surprisingly equal. The blades were knocked away, but Peter hadn't budged. "What is going on? Who is this person?" Sia said, surprised. The beast was confused. While fighting, it would purposely match its strength based on the opponent in front of it. It was sure it had gauged Peter well. What it didn't account for was the spirit spears in its body. Adjusting its power, it swung its blade faster and stronger with its other hand. Peter was unable to do anything. All he could see now was the dark black ceiling above. Peter's legs had been cleanly cut off. The fear in Sia's heart grew even more, as for a moment she felt like she had tricked herself, when she saw how Pio was somehow able to match the strength of the beast. She didn't know how, she didn't know why, but she felt like maybe they had a chance to get out of here alive. However, the beast was simply toying with them. The next attack from the beast was a lot faster than the previous one, and now Peter's legs had been completely detached from his body. It was a strange sight to see as the beast was towering over Peter. Although his bladed hands were long, it seemed like the roots that were attached to the hard part of the creature could extend and retract. It was hard for her to confirm her theory. Science seemed to happen in an instant, and she was still trying to get over the shock. Even with her sprint spear inside the beast, it had little to no effect. She felt like her attacks were useless. The beast then walked forward, ignoring Peter on the ground. Sia then noticed that its body seemed to be facing in a certain direction. It had chosen its next target. It was looking at Logan. The suit's creation was almost done. It was mostly silver in color, matching that of the spiders. Unlike the previous one, which was quite large and bulky, looking almost mech-light. This one suited Logan's body shape and stature more. Only the last part remained, which was the head. Logan saw the beast coming towards him and decided to quickly place his body into the suit. He planned on allowing the spiders to complete the final part. On the top of his hands were 2 circular rings. Around the edge of the rings were small, little metallic claws that looked similar to a tooth. "It's still not active," said Logan, looking at the circular rings. "The suit needs to be complete before I can do anything. Just a few more seconds." Taking another step, the beast suddenly felt something grabbing onto its leg. As it looked down, it could see the opponent that it had already defeated. Peter continued to grasp at the tree trunk-like leg as hard as he could. Once again, the beast looked down. This time it lifted its arm and started to extend above its head. Sia realized that she was indeed not imagining things. The beast could retract and extend its limbs. As the beast swung downward, Sia squinted. She couldn't watch anymore. Still, she needed to. When she opened her eyes once again, Peter's arm had been removed from his body. "Peter!" Logan said. The suit of armor had been completed. The suit was mostly silver in color, and the top helmet part covering the head was a single pane of glass, going from the chin up to the top of the head. The chest was plated in a green metal, while the 2 circles on the top of his hands were also outlined in green. "This won't be enough," Logan predicted after witnessing the fight between Peter and the beast. He had seen Peter fight in the VR game, and he could gauge his strength. There was still one more thing Logan needed: a weapon. A strange, square-like device was attached to Logan's belt. He chucked the strange object on the floor, and it suddenly expanded into what looked like a large chest. Logan quickly grabbed some crystals from the chest. "Others might think this is a waste, but our lives are on the line." After taking out the crystals, the device returned to its original size, and a robotic spider jumped up, returning it around his waist. After placing the 2 crystals in his hand, the green-like circles started to glow. A female robotic voice sounded inside his head. 2 intermediate-tier crystals detected. An energy weapon is being generated. "Still needs more time. Looks like it needs more time than I had previously predicted. That or the worry inside me is making me feel like this is taking forever," Logan said. The beast was now only a few meters away from Logan's position. The problem was, now that he knew the beast was able to extend its limbs, it was hard for him to gauge its true attack range distance. After analyzing his opponent, Logan felt like this suit was the best against it, but he was beginning to have second thoughts about whether or not he had made the right decision. The suit he used most of the time was equally balanced when it came to power, defense, and speed. The suit he had formed now focused on attack power. After seeing what the creature looked like, he thought it was the best option. With a small body frame and arms for weapons, he wanted to fight fire with fire. However, now that he knew it had some range, perhaps something speed-oriented would have been better. The other problem was that the suit was pretty useless when it came to defense, and right now his weapon hadn't even finished forming. Just as Logan was planning to dash towards it, a familiar voice shouted from behind the beast. "Hey, if you want to forget about me, you have to make sure you've killed me first," Peter shouted. As Sia turned her head to look at who was shouting, she was amazed. She rubbed her eyes a few times just to make sure she wasn't hallucinating. It was Pio. He was standing on his 2 feet, and his arm was regenerated. She knew he had impressive regenerative abilities, but this was something out of this world. Inhuman, almost. As Peter stood there, she noticed he had his hand over his belly. His regenerative powers were impressive, but he had used too much energy, and for the first time, he felt hungry. He started having second thoughts. If he was to get this severely injured once more, then maybe he wouldn't be able to regenerate anymore. The beast turned and looked at Peter, tilting its body slightly to the side. It seemed confused. Its interest piqued, and once again he started to walk towards Peter. Although Peter had regenerated, he hadn't suddenly gotten stronger. If he was to face the creature again, it would be the same outcome.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.